A little crochet never hurt anyone unless you accidentally stab yourself with a crochet hook. My type of thing to do. So let's crochet some cute napkin rings. Hi everybody. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet a very simple napkin ring using a rib single crochet. And I'm going to show you how to close it on this napkin ring. That's why it is not closed yet, but I did do a sample that I just happened to have lost. That's why you can't see it. Sorry. I am a beginner crocheter, meaning I'm a sort of casual crocheter because I'm just a hobby crafter and I crochet when I crochet. So I'm not an expert, and I feel like I need to give this disclosure because if you see my technique is a little bit off, forgive me. This is really a beginner-friendly craft, and my point is just to show you the process. You can actually use any crochet stitch for this, and you can make it any size you want. So you don't even need the pattern. I'm just showing you a basic process that you can follow. So we're going to start with a slip knot, and I am going to make my slip knot. There we go. Alrighty. Now I'm going to crochet 6. Sorry, chain stitch. Chain 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now skip the first chain from the hook, and we're going to single crochet 5. So just to jog your memory, that was a single crochet, that was 1. You put your hook through the first loop, catch the thread, pull it through, yarn over, and pull through both. Okay, so that was number 2. So put it through the loop, yarn over, pull it through the loop, the chain loop, yarn over again, and pull it through both. That was 3. Now we're going to do 4. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through both. And now we're going to do number 5. Through the chain, yarn over and pull through 1. Yarn over and pull through both. Now I'm going to remind you that you can do this any width you want. How many you do in your foundation chain and in your rows are going to determine the width of the napkin ring. So this one is, I believe, 5 or 6 across. I'm not sure. Chains, and I think it's 6 stitches total, including the turning stitch. So I'm not positive, but you'll see based on how this comes out. And this is something that will vary greatly depending on your yarn. If you're using a yarn that's just a notch thinner than this, you're going to want to do a few more. If you're using one that's just a notch thicker than this, then it's going to be significantly wider. Because it's such a small project, the small variations really have a big effect. So just keep that in mind, and I would definitely swatch a sample or two before you get all into making a whole napkin ring, because it really will depend. Okay, so now we're going to turn. So you chain 1 as your turning chain, and then you skip the first chain. Now we're not going to be putting it through the whole chain, through the whole single crochet as you normally would. We're doing a rib stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to go only through the front loop. So you're going through only the front loop. You're yarning over, pulling through 1, yarning over, pulling through 2. So let's continue doing this. Only through the front loop, yarning over, pulling through 1, yarning over, pulling through 2. That was 2. Again, only the front one, yarning over and pulling through 1, yarning over and pulling through 2. Now notice there's a different way that I yarn over for the first one and the second one. It's just habit and comfort, and it really doesn't matter which one you do. So I believe that was 3. So now we're going to do, sorry, that was through both, yarning through 1, just through the front loop of the previous single crochet, 1 and 2. And now the last one, don't miss that last one. It's easy to miss. Yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 1. Now again, we're going to do a turning chain and continue this process. So I'll show you one more row on camera, and then I'm going to show you how I finish this off. So you're skipping the first one, putting the hook through only the first loop, yarning over and pulling through, yarning over and pulling through both, through only the first loop, yarning over and pulling through, yarning over and pulling through. And another thing that will affect the amount of stitches you do is your tension. So you see I'm doing this with a very like loose tension, you could say, and that's because I'm trying to show you, and for my holes to be clear, it really needs to be loose so that it could be very visible, as opposed to also if I'm working up close to my face. So your tension will vary. So if you tend to make things very tight, you might want to do a few more stitches across. So through the front one, yarn over and through, yarn over and through both, through the front loop, yarn over and through, yarn over and through the front loop, and yarn over and pull it through, and yarn over and pull it through both. And then you're going to chain, and you're going to continue going until you can see it's starting to form a beautiful rib. You're going to continue going until you reach the end. Now I'm going to show you how you finish it off. So when you're done, you pull your string, out. We're going to take a darning needle, and we are going to thread it. And now I did try a few different ways. So if you have a different way that you're more comfortable doing this, I kind of wanted it to be as flat as possible. You could actually weave this already in because it's getting me a little nervous. But my favorite way to do it was just to keep it as flat as possible by just going out and in like this. So you're trying to locate the stitches. Again, don't worry too much if it's, not perfect, and you're just going like that through the sort of corresponding stitches. And again, this is a little more forgiving, and consider this the seam that goes on bottom. But if you know how to do this a little bit cleaner than me, then go ahead, and you can even comment below with your favorite technique for doing this. And again, I'm trying to make it secure, so I might double up some if I feel like they're too far apart. Like these two, I feel like could use another one. And that might make me a little bit of a seam, but that's fine. And if the seam sticks out a lot, however you finish it off, you simply flip it inside out. Otherwise, you can leave it whichever way you want. And we're going to keep doing that. And I know I went over 2. And this is what I mean when I say that I'm not a professional. Like, I'm a crafter and I just figure out how to do things. So I'm sometimes uneasy with sharing a crochet tutorial because, maybe there is a better way to do it. And I'm not a pro, but why should I withhold sharing my ideas with you? And here we continue, and we're pulling through. I just feel like you need a disclaimer so that if you saw somebody who is a professional share a different way to do something, you know to prioritize the way that they did it. All right, so you see it's quite nice and tight, and it is not visible enough. Now, it's not the prettiest part of the crochet, but you might want to, so you might want to still keep this as your back, but it's totally a workable seam. And now we're just going to sort of thread through our extra, weave in the end and pull through, and then we could trim. Okay, and we're going to do the same with that. We're going to weave that end and we're going to trim it tight. So let's trim this. All right, that's my extra. So you're going to weave through that end also, and then your napkin ring is complete. And I'm going to finish the other one, and then I'm going to show you how these look on napkins, how cute they look, and wintry. Because when you see it just on its own, it doesn't look too impressive, but when you see it on a napkin, it is an adorable craft. Another thing I wanted to point out is that you can see the edges. I did not trim them. You can trim them, but you're going to see that when, I mean, like you can make a border, but you're going to see though, when I put it on, it kind of really looks cute with that ruffled edge that naturally occurs between rows of crochet. All right, so we're going to give these napkin rings a try. You can see I put this one on already. The truth is I don't love the napkin that I used for it. So we're going to swap that with one that matches the other ring. So I apologize for those of you who are very particular. We're going to go like this. Pull it up from the center. Now you can pleat this, but you don't need to. I am not pleating these. Now they don't glide down. There are probably other fabrics you can use, strings that you can use that would glide down more, like maybe cotton twine. It wouldn't have that sweater vibe to it, I imagine. It would look more nautical. But here you go. There it is. And again, if your tension is like tighter, then you're going to have it cinch more. But for me anyway, you're staging a table. You can simply stage it. Straighten out the ring. And there you go. Really cute sweater vibe. There's so many different things you can do with this. You can kind of like stitch names into it, I'd imagine, like kind of embroider into the crochet. You can add, like I said, you can crochet little flowers. Oh, where's my thingy? Okay, I guess I did a pretty good, there it is. A pretty good job on that one. You can stitch into it. My tension was much looser on that one because I was showing you the whole crochet. This one you can see is much tighter, which is a good thing because it's holding its shape better. And there you go, crochet napkin rings. Look how cute. Imagine this on a whole fall table. It just adds a touch of sweater. While it looks very like, how do you want to say it? Very homely kind of. When it's like just in your hand and you might not be so satisfied, go ahead and try it because it looks so cute now.